Hello, U.S. history students, and welcome to the U.S. history quarter 4 test. We're going to go ahead and read through the test and make sure that you have this all read to you. It is questions 1 through 20. When you get down to the bottom, please make sure to click on Submit Quiz so that it does show up in the gradebook and can be automatically graded for you. Question number 1. At the beginning of World War II, the United States wanted to stay neutral yet provide assistance to the countries fighting Germany, which is not a way the U.S. initially responded to World War II. Cash and carry policy provided troops who volunteered to support the Allied forces. Lend-Lease Act. Question 2. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. This is a quote by President Franklin D. Roosevelt from December 8, 1941. How does the event that FDR is describing in his quote impact U.S. involvement in World War II? A. Japanese U-boats were sinking U.S. ships, which led to the U.S. declaring war on Japan. B. Japanese forces attacked the U.S. mainland with air raids, and the U.S. stayed out of the war to focus on rebuilding. C. Japan attacked the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor, and the U.S. declared war on Japan in response. Question number 3. Select the 3 ways civilians contributed to the war effort during World War II. Petition the government to end the war, grew victory gardens, ration the use of food and gasoline, or went to work in military manufacturing factories. Remember, you have to select 3. This is not a multiple choice question, it's multiple select. Question number 4. Which concept below was part of the Double V campaign for African Americans during the war? A. Victory over fascism in Europe and the end to segregation or Jim Crow laws in the U.S. B. Victory over the Nazis in Europe and against Japanese in Asia. C. The values of patience and honesty that World War II soldiers had. Question number 5. Why were Japanese Americans sent to internment camps during World War II? A. Because they wanted to live with other Japanese Americans. B. Because their neighbors saw them as a threat to their livelihoods. C. Because the U.S. government questioned their loyalty to America during the war. Number 6 is another multiple select. Check the 3 comments that describe the significance of D-Day. The first one is that it was the largest seaborne invasion. It allowed the Allied troops to get a foothold in Eastern Europe, resulting with the Germans fighting Allied forces on multiple fronts. It was the name for the day we dropped the atomic bombs on Japan. It began the final drive towards defeating the Germans in the European theater. Question number 7. Read the quote from Truman below and answer the following question. The atom bomb was no great decision. It was used in the war, and for your information, there were more people killed in firebombs in Tokyo than dropping of the atomic bombs accounted for. It was merely another powerful weapon in the arsenal of righteousness. The dropping of the bombs stopped the war, saved millions of lives. What was Truman's and the American government's justification for using the atomic bombs on Japan? A. To get revenge for the bombing of Pearl Harbor. B. To destroy the facilities and prevent Japan from building atomic weapons. C. To end the war with the fewest casualties possible. Number 8. What started because Stalin went back on his promise to allow free elections in Eastern Europe and force nations in Eastern Europe to be communist? World War II. B. The Cold War. C. The Korean War. Question number 9. The Truman Doctrine, Marshall Plan, and the Berlin Airlift were part of what American policy? A. The containment of communism. B. The domino theory. C. The Monroe Doctrine. Question number 10. Which of the following was the major reason for the development of anti-American feelings in the Middle East? A. The U.S. government's support of communism. B. U.S. covert operations that interfered with the internal affairs of other countries to ensure we maintained our supply of oil. C. America had provided assistance to people in Afghanistan. Question number 11. This is another multiple select. Select 3 ways the GI Bill influenced American society. More veterans were able to attend college for the first time. It gave veterans unemployment insurance and living stipends to former servicemen. Veterans were given money to buy new cars. Veterans were offered loans to start businesses. Question number 12. Which was not a reason why the U.S. experienced prosperity after World War II? American factories can continue producing items for the U.S. and foreign countries since they were not destroyed during the war. B. The government gave every American a stimulus check for their help during the war. C. During the war, there were not many consumer items to purchase, so Americans had large savings accounts. Question 13. This is another multiple select. Select 3 ways Americans were encouraged to conform in the 1950s. The television influenced American ideas by showing shows that spread the word of Christianity and anti-communism. Religion was encouraged, and the government added the phrase "under God" to the Pledge of Allegiance and "In God We Trust" to the national motto. Men and women were forced into specific roles as society wanted to push women out of the workplace and back into the home. Men were given a choice as to what role they played in society, while women were not given a choice. Number 14, who did President Kennedy target with his new frontier agenda? Upper class Americans, women who worked in factories during World War II, or the younger generation. Question number 15, match the civil rights legislation or court case to its proper definition. Your court case options are Brown versus Board of Education, Civil Rights Act of 1964, and Voting Rights Act of 1965. These are the legislations. This is the court case. This removed obstacles such as literacy tests from registering to vote. This made separate but equal illegal in schools. This eliminated segregation in public accommodations and banned bias in hiring. You need to match the description to the correct term. Number 16, what was the theme of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech? A clip from the speech is here. Choose either equality for all, freedom for blacks, and understanding among religions. Question number 17, which of the following explains the difference between Martin Luther King Jr.'s civil disobedience strategy and Malcolm X's Black Panther strategy? A, they didn't agree on what to include in civil rights laws being proposed in Congress. B, the Black Panthers and Malcolm X felt that peaceful civil disobedience was taking too long and was not aggressive enough. C, King believed violence was the only solution to gaining civil rights, while the Black Panthers and Malcolm X supported a peaceful, gradual strategy. Question number 18 is matching. Match the accomplishment that resulted from the second wave of the women's rights movement during the 1970s. The options are over here. It's either Title IX, Equal Pay Act, or Equal Rights Amendment. The options or descriptions are over here. Proposed amendment to the U.S. Constitution not yet approved, which states equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Law that states that people with the same job and job responsibilities must be paid the same regardless of gender. And the last one is a part of the Education Amendment Act of 1972 that guarantees equal participation for men and women in education programs that get funding from their federal government, for example, sports programs. Number 19, which term refers to an easing of tensions in the Cold War? Laissez-faire, civil disobedience, or détente? Question number 20, and your last question for the test. What was not an outcome of the Watergate scandal? Gerald Ford acquitted Nixon. People rallied behind their president with renewed belief in their political leaders. People lost trust in politicians and became cynical about politics in general. When you're done with the test, click Submit Quiz, and it will be automatically graded in the gradebook for you. Good luck.